The main thing you might know about New Vegas is its useful special skills, as today I'll be putting that to the test as I ask the question, can you beat Fallout New Vegas as a pacifist? The rules for this run are fairly simple. I cannot under any circumstances kill anyone, and will be relying on the speech skill to carry myself through any encounters. With that out of the way, let's begin. Waking up in Doc Mitchell's house, reeling from my recent bullet to the head, I put a 10 in charisma, for obvious reasons, also putting a 10 in both endurance and agility, as I assumed I would be doing a lot of running away this round. Dumping the rest into intelligence so I could level up quicker. I chose my tagged skills being speech, barter and medicine, the reasons being the same for my special stats, as if I didn't take these the run would be over before I began. I then looted Doc Mitchell's house for all it's worth and was released into the wasteland, where I slowly waddled over to Chet's store, where I sold all my weapons and ammo for all the medical supplies he could possibly muster up. Equipping the light armor I had got, as it proved to be a good source of damage protection this early in the game. Running to the cemetery, I inspected my grave, also come to the realization if I was to follow this main story Obsidian had intended, I could practically do none of it, due to its violent means. So to that end, I decided to head directly for the strip from Goodsprings. It being fairly easy, only getting abused by some castadors, but with my great running away technique, with an ample supply of needles being shoved directly into my arm, I made it through, and immediately began getting barbecued by some geckos. But by applying my same strategic know-how, again I made it past, straight into the arms of some MCR soldiers, who finished them off for me, them also putting down some fiends who happened to be nearby. Now due to me being on the side of the strip, right next to Camp McLaren, so, dying past all the guards, I took the monorail to the strip, but for that God seemed unhappy with me, as my game crashed almost immediately.
All of this just works.
Reloading, I managed to make it outside this time, going straight to the top, where I handed over my imaginary weapons to Swank, and then stared at Benny, giving me enough XP to get me to level 3, where I dumped all my points into speech, and chose a Swift Learner perk. Confronting Benny, I used my barter skill, making him give me 500 caps, and agreed to meet him in the presidential suite. I played with some things at the bar, also attempted to play some pool. After all, I got bored with my childish tendencies, and went over to the intercom to see what was going on. Benny revealed he was going to send his goons to kill me. However, I was able to sweet talk him out of killing me, and he then ran off to the fort. I then met up with Yes Man, as he was going to be my only way to beat the game of pacifism, as I didn't need to kill anyone for him. I then leveled up, getting my speech skill to 99, which was irritating. Leaving the tops, I was greeted by Volpez, accepting his ticket to the fort. I then met with Mr. House, and he tasked me with activating his security on army. With my tasks aligned, I left the Lucky 38, leveled up once more, being able to put my final point into speech, now being set for the rest of the run. I then fast travelled to Goodsprings and began my long trek across the Mojave. At one point I did find myself in what seemed to be the one place in the game where all the Scorpions met up and had a nice get together. However, I was able to run straight through, thankfully, where I discovered Hidden Valley, this being handy for later. I then found myself in yet another Scorpion hangout location, this time surviving with my use of cheese. As I scaled the side of the cliffs, around the gulch, escaping the nightmare, I then also marked Helios 1 on the map. Further up the road I also visited Novak, where I agreed to help Boom find his wife's killer, but I just wanted his killer hat.
Boo! You suck!
Moving away from my appalling joke, there was smooth sailing from Novak to Palmer Cove, having to let out my inner mountaineer in the process as I hitched a ride on the boat up to the fort. Talking to Caesar, he tasked me with blowing up the Securiton army. Giving me the chip, unbeknownst to him I spoke with House and went to turn the army on. Coming into this, I thought the turrets and the projectrons would be tough to get through. I could not have been more wrong though. With my ample supply of Syntax, I made it through, easily, activating the army, and I got out of there. Returning to Caesar, he congratulated me on a job well done, mistaking the waking army for an explosion. He then let me speak with Benny, trying to release him did not go well. Instead I reloaded and let them kill him. Now, this might bring some confusion in for the run, but I did not perform the kill myself, and from a pacifist standpoint, I did try to prevent it. As you saw, it failed. So I had no option for it, unless I'm blind and there was an option I didn't choose. So with that unhappy turn of events out of the way, I returned to the strip, and proceeded to do something that again brought up some moral issues. I had to get rid of House and allow access to Yes Man. However, I could just disconnect House from the system instead of having to kill him. Leaving House out in the air, I made sure he was alive before I left, so it in fact would not be my fault if nature takes him, as it would not have been me who had killed him. Moving past these two moral grey areas, I then went to collect Yes Man and my game crashed. Now if you're wondering what the counter in the top right of the screen had been this whole time, it's the crash counter. Yes Man New Vegas is unbelievably buggy, as it crashes a ridiculous amount every playthrough I have. Hopefully for the next New Vegas video I find a fix. Reloading, I collected Yes Man, telling him I'd taken care of House. He then proceeded to kill my ears. Headphone warning, in case you don't know what's about to happen. After killing my ears, he then gave me the Securitron presentation, which is just a glorified cutscene, and I was then free to speak with all the factions for him. First stopping off at Gamora, I spoke with them for a little bit, gaining my opinion, and went over to the White Gloves. I did attempt to do their quest line here, but ran into a snag looking for the detective as the White Gloves attacked me. This then forced me to quickly exit the situation. Now onto the Boomers, who I could actually side with pacifistly, due to the fetch quests, if I chose the right ones. Never thought I would say this, but the fetch quests were the way to go, so to that end I made my way there, finding George, whom told me of a way past. I believed him, got what he deserved, getting blown up immediately. With his body being scattered into pieces, I grabbed my caps back off him. Luckily, due to my abundance of stimpaks, I was able to just tank the explosions, getting close enough to the gate, and I was taken to Pearl. As I said before, I proceeded to help them, as I actually did want to do something this run. Helping Argyle with his patients, being able to fully heal them with my medicine skill, also fixing the array for Lil, collecting all the parts from Helios, as I had marked it on the map earlier, and then fix the array, reporting my success to Loyal, helping Jack with his love life, which was alright, it just had me fast travelling between Crimson Caravan and Nellis repeatedly, and once that was over, I then spoke with Pearl and Loyal, and was on my way to raise the bomber. I then made my way from Nellis to the bomber, only being heckled by some geckos on the way. My slow jog was too quick for them, so they were a non-issue. Finally making it there, I made sure to avoid the lake lurks. I attached the ballast, and then used Loyal's detonator, raising the bomber. I then reported the good news to both Loyal and Pearl, and they agreed to help in the coming battle. Now with these next parts, I won't bore you with the fine details of meeting the Brotherhood and the Great Khans. Just know I helped the Brotherhood get rid of the Ranger with my broken speech skill, never spoke with them again, and also found Red Rock, gaining my opinion from just a random Great Khan, and then finally returning to Yes Man in the Lucky 38. Telling him of my opinions, I also couldn't help save Kimball, even if I wanted to, so I went straight to the Eldorado substation. Sneaking past the guards, I powered it up, and it was now time for the second battle of Hoover Dam. The battle itself was fairly anticlimactic, which was not a surprise for this run, it mostly being me spamming stimpaks until I reached the control room. Thankfully, with me not angering the NCR, they did not shoot me, and I was able to convince the heavy troopers to leave, going in and overriding the system with Yes Man, powering the army under the fort, only getting lost inside the dam for a few minutes. I left once I'd actually read the signs, and the boomers rained down hellfire. I couldn't really see much due to all the fire engulfing me, but continued on my way to Leggett's camp nonetheless. Once inside, I ran around, letting the Praetorians fall to the Securitrons, and confronted the Legate himself. Choosing all the right skill checks, Leggett ran away like a little bitch. With that, I did the same with General Oliver, beating the game, and proving you can in fact beat Fallout New Vegas as a pacifist. Now I know this was a fairly boring first video on New Vegas, but for anyone interested, I do have something interesting coming next week. So yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you did, comment down below if you have any suggestions for future runs, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.